Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of RPGs with Paddy. I'm Paddy. Today, before I start going through the individual scenarios that focus on Vecna, I thought it would be helpful to have a separate video talking about the cult of Vecna. Now, all of this information is widely available, most of it free on the internet. Possibly some of it is restricted to paid products. However, the information has been out there since 1990. So I'm going to give a spoiler warning here. The information is not really a secret, but you might want to check with your DM if it's cool for you to watch this. Ruining secrets in a game that your GM has spent a lot of time preparing is kind of lame. I'm 99% certain this video will be fine, but just as a warning. As much as I would appreciate more views, it's more important that you have a fun time playing the games. Okay, so now that the spoiler warning is out of the way, this is a breakdown of the Cult of Vecna as it appears in the second edition, mostly from the campaign Vecna Lives. There is 100% some confusing terminology here, so I'll try to help you understand as best as possible. So at the top of the cult is, of course, Vecna. The voice of Vecna is Vecna's manifestation on whatever current plane you are on. He can't take his full Vecna form until he has both the eye and the hand of Vecna. These are the artifacts, the magical artifacts. They are hidden from him and he can't locate them with magic. And I think this character, the manifestation of Vecna, always appears with some kind of physical disability or missing limb, but not necessarily his eye or his hand. The next in line, so the second most powerful person in the cult is going to be is called the Heart of Vecna. And she is a high priestess of the cult and always wears a blood red robe with no decorations. Usually a very high level evil cleric. I guess it could also be a high priest, but traditionally it's been a high priestess. The next most important members of the cult are two unique creatures, the eye and the hand of Vecna. Now, this is where the terminology gets confusing. Everyone knows the eye and the hand, the magical artifacts. However, there are also these two unique creatures. The eye, the creature, is a 7-foot tall former human whose head has been replaced by a giant eyeball. Its primary goal in the cult is information gathering, but it's a decent fighter too, and it has a powerful gaze, which can have many effects on the target. The hand of Vecna, the creature, is more like a dwarf in stature, so short and very stout. In place of its head, it has a giant hand. It can't communicate, and its creation was pure agony, so it's always angry. It is an excellent fighter, and the head hand can be brutal, draining strength each round from a grappled opponent, so you could be reduced to 0 strength and thus die. Now, it should be noted that until now, to my knowledge, there has been no mention of these creatures in the 5th edition, so the structure of the cult may have changed. You might see something new coming up in the upcoming release, Vecna Eve of Ruin. Below that, you have the thoughts of Vecna, and these are the head priests of the different congregations of the cult. Each congregation is called an organ, and each organ has several priests, but only one thought. The lesser priests in each of these organs are called the memories of Vecna. The teeth of Vecna are not clerics of Vecna, so a little bit more like lay people, but they are still spellcasters. The fingers of Vecna are the non-clerics, but they are thieves. Thieves are quite important in the cult of Vecna because stealth, secrecy, and gathering information are of paramount importance to the cult. Finally, almost finally, the blood of Vecna are the lay fighters. And the lowest rung in the cult are called the spawn of Vecna. These are truly lay people with no special abilities. They're just evil commoners. However, within the cult, they are viewed as Vecna's helpless children, so they're afforded a lot of protection from the higher-ups. It's thought to be a huge affront to the cult to harm even its weakest members. or perhaps especially its weakest members. So that is the cult of Vecna as it appeared in the 1990s. I think cults and religious orders were way more established in the older days of D&D, whereas now most people wouldn't know the difference between, a Dawn Lord of Lathander and the Sunrise Lord. So when the new Vecna campaign comes out, I'm not sure how much of this will still hold true. I wonder as well, will they keep the hand and the eye creatures? Maybe they'll think they just look a bit too silly, or maybe they'd rather avoid the confusion between the eye creature and the eye artifact and the hand creature and the hand artifact. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I personally think that the Eye of Vecna creature looks awesome, and I'd love to see what they do with it with 5e art. I also like the hand, but I could see how that could come across as a little bit silly. But I think they'd either have both of them or neither of them. Anyway, that is going to do it for today. If you like the content, drop a like. And if you want to know more about Vecna in the lead up to the new campaign, subscribe because I've got a lot more content coming. So that will do it for today. Take it easy, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Bye.